Hello everyone, welcome once again. So let's get right into this. I had already done a tutorial on this, but I kept getting complaints that it wasn't clear. Yeah, because I used pencil, and I'm so sorry for that because I went back to take a look at the video and it was really bad. So I had to do something. I had to do something really fast. So I started by leaving an inch allowance for zipper. Remember, we are drafting the back borders first, so I left 1 inch for zipper, and my half length here is 9 inches, but I'll be using 10 extra 1 inch for joining allowance and every other stuff. So the shoulder I'm working with here is 10 divided by 5, that divided by 2, that's 5. So I went ahead to mark out my 5 inches. Then the neckline for the back bodice is 2 inches by half an inch, 2 by half an inch, 2 by half an inch. The depth is half and the length is 2 inches. So after that, the depth is half an inch and the width is 2 inches. Then I came down by half an inch for my shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope down, I marked out my armhole, which is 5 inches from the shoulder slope. Then gave it a straight line. Then I gave my armhole a curve. As usual, everything is the same. I just want it clearer, and I'm sure this is clearer than the first one. Please forgive my ignorance. Oh, JJC. So guys, after marking out my armhole, I now went ahead to mark out the chest and the waist measurement. The chest measurement is 23 and the waist measurement is the same 23. I divided by 4. That's 5.75, but I'll be rounding it up, and I used 6 inches. Then I added 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance, and that is all for this. So I went ahead and trimmed it out as usual. So we'll be using these back bodies to cut out the front bodies. So right here now, I'll bring out another paper. See, I'm still explaining so we can understand clearly. I am trying to make up for my first mistake. Okay, so for the front bodies, I went ahead to fold in the zipper allowance. We don't need it here. In this side, we'll be leaving 5 inches side, 5 inches up. But for this side, I'm leaving 5 inches here. I'll be using 4. The extra 1 inch I'm leaving there is for allowance. So I'm going to mark out 5 inches by the side and 5 inches upwards. This is to form the collar, right? So it's either you use the back bodies and trace out for the front bodies, or you just go ahead and mark out a fresh front bodies. So now remember, our length for the front bodies was 9 inches, but I used 10. So plus the 5 inches that I'm going to leave upwards for our collar, that is total 15 inches. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark out 15 inches in all in length, and then by the side I'm going to add extra 5 inches. So you can see every other thing is the same for the front and back except the neckline. The neckline for the front inches, I'll be using 2 by 2. Remember, this is for a child between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as in for the neckline. This measurement now is for a child of 4 years. This measurement is for a child of 4 years. So if you have a child above this age, you should know that you're going to alter the neckline, the every other thing, both the waist, and it depends on the child, the age of the child you're working with here, right? So every other thing, like I said, is the same. Then for my armhole, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, so it doesn't look flat. I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, as you can see. Then for the chest and the waist measurement, every other thing is the same. I'm going to add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance, just like I did for the back bodies. So now we'll go ahead and measure out the neckline of the back bodies. This is to enable us know how to mark out our the front bodies. So after marking out the neckline for the back bodies, I'm going to go ahead now and place that measurement on my front bodies. It is very important. So from there now, I would go backwards by 1/2 inch. I would go backwards by 1/2 inch. It's not supposed to be straight. It is not supposed to be a straight line. I repeat, it is not supposed to be a straight line. So I went in by 1/2 inch, backwards by 1/2 inch, just to give it a slant look, right? So now after this, I'm going to go ahead now and mark out the 4 inches. Like I said earlier, the remaining 1 inch there is for allowance, in case of anything whatsoever. So now I'm going to mark out from my neckline down to that 4-inch space. You can decide to use 3 inches. I am using 4 here. You can decide to use 3 inches. So, or you can decide to even use 5 inches. So I mark down from my neckline, that point there, down to the 4 inches. Remember, from that neckline right there up is the measurement of the back neckline. That is 2.5 inches. So from there now, I'm going to mark out the neck, the shoulder. Yes, it's the shoulder. So you can use 3, you can use 3.5, you can use 4 inches, but in this case I used 3.5. This all depends on how wide you want the collar to be. This all depends on how wide. So if you're going to be using 4, you know that it is automatically going to be 2 inches because it will be on fold. So after that, you're going to go out again by either 1 inch or 1/2 inch. I used 7.5. Remember, it is not going to be straight. This is for the collar to rest well on the neck. The collar has to rest well on the neckline. That is why it is not going to be straight here. That is why I am making it slant by going up again by 7.5. Remember, if you notice, I used dotted line and a straight line. The dotted line is to show you where it's supposed to be originally, and the straight line is to show you where we are going to extend it to. Then from there now, I'm going to use my ruler and give it a curve because the style shows it's a little curvy. It is not a straight lapel collar. It has a little curve. So I'm going to go ahead now and use my ruler to mark out the curve just like I want it. You can decide to make yours straight down, but I gave mine a little curve. So from there now, I'm going to mark out 1/2 inch from the shoulder down to where my 4 inches space started. That's why I told you I left 1 inch extra. This is for the allowance, and I'm using it right here now. So I went ahead to mark out 1/2 inch all round. This is for sewing allowance. For the back bodies, I did not add, but I'm going to add it when I'm cutting. So remember to add 1/2 inch for the shoulder. For the back bodies, it is only on the shoulder you are adding 1/2 inch, right? So guys, this is all it is. There are no two ways about it. It is as simple as you've seen. You can try this out, but make sure you try this first on a pattern paper. Please make sure you try this on a pattern paper. And this is all it is. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around despite the poor illustration I did the first time. So I hope you learned one or two from this. And hey, one other thing. So when you're cutting out on your fabric, remember for the collar inwards, you're going to be cutting out the material with the same face of material for the main dress. You see that line I drew now? This other side is the lining, while this other side is the same material as the main dress, because when you're flipping over, it has to be showing that the front bodice is the same as the inner. So thank you once again, guys. Please go and practice, and do not forget to share, like, and comment. Thank you. God bless you.